Yeah. But fun fact, I'm glad we could spend this time in Warhammer talking about Agatha Christie.
I'm afraid the servo turrets
They go
beyond
together
this
so
room
well.
remain primed.
I mean, there is a whole Warhammer crime series. You know, of just...
Is that the Eisenhower books?
I mean, maybe. There is just a whole section called Warhammer Crime. In fact, there is, like, dark noir books that follow a duo. I can't remember their name. One of them's, like, one of the giants, though. Hold on. This is actually worth looking up. Because I remember thinking it was really funny. And you'll probably end up getting a kick out of them. Warhammer Crime is an imprint of novels, short stories, and audio dramas by Black Library Publishing, featuring stories in the detective and crime genres. It launched in 2020 with the release of Bloodlines and Dredge Runners. Specifically, where's it at? The one that I think you'd find interesting is the journeys of Baggett and Claude. Baggett is a fast-talking, rattling sniper with a greedy eye and loose morals. Claude is an Ogren, a brute with a core of decency and a desire for a better life. The two abhuman deserters turned thieves at large in the monolithic city of Varangantua, where only the tough or the ruthless survive. But that is an audio drama called The Dredge Runners. It's about an hour long. I think it would be right up your alley. So highly recommend. And I believe there were also, like, either novels or short stories revolving around those two as well.
Specimens needed for my research.
Specimens, cages, operating theaters. This place reeks of Xenos filth.
That is the business of the Inquisition, Ultramarines.
Yeah, very
This way,
literally, he
Ultramarines.
is Ordo Xenos, which means it's his job to look at aliens.
Gotcha.
That is literally the business of the Inquisition. He has sanction to do this shit.
Well, it's the board you have sanction to do it.
Yeah. Emperor approved.
Well, yeah.
Honestly, at the end of the day, that's all you need.
You know, the last time someone didn't have the Emperor's approval to do stuff.
A Kraken Bolter, a modified bolter, which fires adamantine cord Kraken ammunition. I forgot when you have the hammer, you can't use your other two weapons at the bottom, because those
Yeah.
are two-handed weapons.
Excellent.
This is the firing core, Inquisitor. Does it discharge through the whole facility?
No, not precisely.
I'll probably swap
The
to the
core
axe the
actually
next time I run
raises to
into
the
it.
rooftop of the facility. That is where the rest of the firing array is located.
You only have 2 arms.
Yep, I only have the 2 arms. But 2 hearts and 4 lungs. You know. But I only have the 2 arms. Any more than that would be abhuman.
Which would be heresy.
That would be heresy. Not that I'm gonna modify myself or anything. You know what's interesting is it is considered heresy to try and improve upon the Astartes model, which is why, like, Fulgrim got sanctioned in the Horus Heresy, but I'm like 90% sure Gilliman sanctioned someone to look at the replacement for the Astartes. They're called like the Primus or something along those lines. They're called like Primus Marines or something like that, which is just an upgraded. Yeah, like the Primaris Marines.
I don't know.
No. They're called like the Primaris or something like that. But they're basically like the next step above Astartes. But not quite Primarchs.
Ultra Primaris. The next step.
I thought he turned off the defense protocol against us. That's why he said that we needed to go open to that side room. Admittedly, I've not been paying super close attention. What's your favorite Agatha Christie story?
I'm real big into And There Were None.
That one was a really good one.
I like that. Orient Express is a classic. Carol at End House was a good one.
I don't think I've heard of that one. It's not by that name. I like the Mrs. Marple series. There's something very charming about like a cheeky old lady detective.
Yeah. Peril at End House is another Orient Express book.
Oh, gotcha.
It features the same detective.
Oh, okay.
That's just later.
Monroe's a funny guy.
Yeah.
He's a silly man.
I've not read Peril at End House, but I have heard it's a pretty good one.
Well, okay. Right now, I'm reading through one of the Discworld books called Moving Pictures, which is basically what if the Discworld had Hollywood. Quite literally, they have a place there now called Hollywood.
Gotcha. You know, Hollywood.
It's the Hollywoods.
The Hollywoods.
But basically, they're going through an industrial revolution. I'm only at the very beginning of it, but I'd say so far of all the Discworld books that I've read, this one's probably the slowest to really get into things. Because usually it's kind of like wacky hijinks right off the bat. And it's not to say that Moving Pictures isn't that, but it's been a little bit of a slow starter.
Yeah.
Not one of my favorites. I really enjoyed Small Gods. That was a really good one. Mort was a pretty good one. I'd probably say out of the ones that I've read so far, Men at Arms might be my favorite. which was one of the guards' novels, the Night Watch novels.
Command room is beyond those doors.
And
Guards was pretty good, but I think Men at Arms ended up being a better novel overall because the foundation for those characters was done during Guards, and he was able to build them up a bit more in Men at Arms.
Right. From what I've read of Guard was really, really good.
I still just don't understand how they lose a giant fucking dragon in the middle of a city.
Well, you do.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever? You actually didn't. Never mind. I was about to say, did you ever end up playing Shadowrun Dragonfall? But no, you just played Shadowrun Returns. You didn't play Dragonfall.
I just played Shadowrun Returns. That was what, the sequel?
Dragonfall was the sequel. Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say it wasn't one of the expansion campaigns or anything like that.
No,
it was its own game.
The sequel. Yeah. The entire plot of Dragonfall is that you're trying to find the dragon.
Fury. This is what I'm on my third cup of coffee.
It's better than Superior Fury. It's supreme.
That right there is when I've had a couple of coffees and then a Red Bull or two. Because it just wasn't enough.
Very good.
I can
Security
smell
measures will be
colors.
down shortly, Captain. I'm afraid they were the only thing keeping the orcs outside, however.
But you will be able to fire the weapon.
Indeed.
we had better do so quickly. This place will be awash with orcs before long.
Of course. Security systems disabled.
There we go.
Authorization recognized. Releasing safeguards.
I
Please
guess we
proceed
just
to the
hadn't made
generator
it to
room.
the panel yet. Yeah. Orcs made it in instantaneously. As soon as the safety perimeters were turned off. They were like, we got some entry boards.
Should have seen that one coming.
Yeah, now that I've read through a handful of the Discworld novels, I'm interested to watch a couple of the movies and play through the DOS game. Just to compare it. Which I would imagine that one's abandonware, considering they haven't
Place the
re-released it
canister
anywhere.
into its cradle inside the power core, Captain.
Do we risk exposure
You
again?
can check God. I
Only
guess.
if you drop the canister. Very good, Captain. Your time carrying my power source is finally at an end.
God bless. Thing was heavy, you know.
Stand clear. Psychic Scourge firing sequence commencing. Alarm. Structural damage. Warning. Emergency containment rights commencing.
Damnable thing!
What do you need me to do, Inquisitor?
You will need to manually restart the array alignment. Forcibly, if you must.
Where?
In the firing chamber. Board the lift, Ultramarines.
Very well. We'll do so. For the Emperor.
Captain, you must hurry. The downed orcs have cut the main conduits to the firing tower. You must reconnect the conduits, Captain, or we're facing an overload that will rip this planet apart.
Understood.
That doesn't sound good. Should probably avoid that.
Maybe.
Maybe. Maybe. Elevator?
Well, of course.
Chamber is infested.
Clear it out. No mercy.
Point of no return. I mean, the game's been pretty linear anyway. I didn't think I was returning to any previous place. So, you know.
Smash those Space Marines!
Time to close this console. Bulk.
Cyclic surge firing sequence commencing.
Inquisitor. The conduits are reconnected.
Now, proceed to the main control panel.
Will do. That's an interesting looking device.
Weapons authorization confirmed. Primary containment fixture disengaging. Firing sequence in progress. Firing now. Alarm.
Oh,
Look at the
Didn't work.
spire.
I've been looking for you, Space Marine. You got something of mine.
yeah, what would that be?
Your attention. It's his.
Well, now. What the power source? How did it get all the way up here? Didn't we plug it in a machine like 8 floors down?
Ah, man had it in his pocket.
Why didn't it work?
Damn that Drogon! Never trust the Inquisition!
That's heresy.
Ultramarines. We can handle a few orcs.
Never expected
Space
this either.
Marine. Was that supposed to hurt?
What's that then?
Oh no!
Chaos
It's them chaos gets.
It's the Chaos Kids!
You got new friends now, Space Marine.
This guy is having way too much fun.
Goodbye.
Oh boy.
Hello, real villain of the game.
Is that Abaddon the Despoiler?
Emphasis on despoiling.
Oh, is he gonna despoil me?
Oh, he's gonna despoil.
Inquisitor! Get back! How heroic. Drogon!
I have served you well,
Nemera?
Traitor.
Not even Abaddon himself.
But he'd still be despoiled.
Oh yeah, he'd be despoiling everything.
I see. My servant did all that I hoped and more. but he would never have succeeded without you, Captain Titus. Thanks to these brave space marines, we have broken through to this reality. The blessed gateway. Clever fool. You seem surprisingly able to resist my touch, Titus of the Ultramarines. And that of the war, which impressed my servant to no end. Ah, you think the Inquisitor a traitor, but Drogon has been dead since before you first met. You have been used by my puppet of flesh and bone. I ain't so easy to kill.
Didn't think I'd see the day when I'd get saved by an orc warbot.
I like how they felt the need to even give the Orc War Boss an epic one-liner.
I ain't so easy.
And then
to
he
kill.
casually grabs the guy and just throws him off the edge. He's like, okay, bye.
We need an exit. To the left.
What was his name again? Nemeral?
Nemeral. Anyway, welcome to the real villains of the game, Chaos.
Chaos Demons. A nice change of pace for orcs.
Yeah.
So Mr. Drogon was dead well before we even made it to Gaia. What's the name? I believe Gaia?
Yeah.
Like that.
It's something like that. Like the Raya.
Oh, yeah, I think it's Gaia.
I think it's Raya.
Get dead.
Did that fiend speak truth? Did we cause a Chaos invasion?
Of course we did. His Inquisitor puppet manipulated us from the moment we met.
And before. The false Inquisitor sent the distress call.
I don't think so, Leandros. The man's urgency, his fear. I believe that was the real Drogon, facing certain death.
And it found him.
But not at the Orcs' hands. Somehow the agents of Chaos were already here.
Oh. Oh dear. Well, obviously these guys are gonna be.
And now it's a three-way war.
Yeah, it's a
Which is always
three-way.
one of the funnest bits of Warhammer. Just with
When
three
you walk
factions.
into a room and you're just like, who do I kill first?
I find it interesting when two factions team up to fight a third faction. I also find it interesting when it's just an all-out free-for-all.
When all three of them go, you know what, you're not worth my time.
Three factions all fighting each other at the same time kind of reminds me of how this setup for Honor was.
Yeah, fair.
Like three factions all just fighting each other. They need to make a For Honor Warhammer game.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad.
No guns, just swords.
Battle axe, chainsword, no guns. Or hell, what do I know? Maybe add guns. Make it a real pain in the ass to live. I was never that great at For Honor. I remember trying to play like the samurai faction.
Well, we made it like 4 chapters into the campaign. We really ought to finish that off. It's been like 6 years. I had fun with the campaign.
Yeah, no, I remember
I
having
think the
fun
last
with it.
time we talked about it, you did not remember the campaign at all.
Yeah,
That's still the case.
more or less. I don't remember exactly what happens in the campaign, although I remember the fact that there is in fact a campaign, like the last time we talked.
Oh, that's not release.
Yeah, the last time we talked, I was just like, wait, there was a campaign in this? I just remembered the multiplayer deathmatch. Which I definitely sucked at.
To the exit! Keep moving!
You doing alright here, bud?
He's trying his best.
What do you think his name is?
Demonic tongue is a bit hard to pronounce.
Bet it's Azeroth. Or something like that. You know,
Well, he's just gonna live.
yeah. We're gonna let you live.
Probably something along the lines of like, luck.
Oh no, we opened the big door. Man's gonna be able to get out.
That gate, it's getting bigger. If it gets much larger, Nemeroth can bring his fleet through.
Then we must cut the link between Warp Gate and Tower.
You have a plan.
We use Invictus to sever the orbital spire.
At that range, will the Titan's cannon be effective?
It's time we use the power source to our advantage. To supercharge Invictus, we need to reach that Titan